Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's going to be a fun episode, but I'll give you some warning right away. If you're a person of musical ability, and if you're a person that takes pride in the Japanese language, then you might want to maybe stop here and maybe avoid this episode, or maybe hold your ears. Okay, because today's episode is going to be about karaoke. Okay. And all of a sudden, all these people going, "Oh my God, karaoke! Why do you even bother doing that?" No, I'm taking this topic up because a lot of people, and especially a lot of animes and that kind of stuff, have what they have, referred to as karaoke lyrics, and they, this entire, concept of, oh, well, let's just go out and do karaoke because that's a Japanese thing to do. Okay, so I'm gonna do an episode about karaoke and some of the things that happened and experiences, and maybe give you some samples of karaoke that I've run across. Okay, now I may as well start with the definition of karaoke. Karaoke is this concept. Okay, by itself it means the silent orchestra, basically, meaning the vocals are quote silent, because they've removed the vocal, and there's a orchestra or the background music playing, which then basically allows you to insert your own lyrics and your own singing. Okay, so that's the idea of karaoke, is to to basically do your version or your performance. Okay, now again, again, the concept started where these things called, for example, karaoke boxes. Okay, and we do have a lot of them in places like Richmond and around Metrotown in Vancouver here, where basically you can go and rent a room. Okay, in Japan, the whole entire concept was started where it was a box, literally a room, a box, a railway car, if you will. They put a sound system of some sort in there. Again, a lot of times they were on cassettes. Okay, later on they improved to like using laser discs, and then now, of course, virtually everything's now digitally done. But they would then have all these things recorded, and songs recorded where they didn't have the vocal track in them. So they basically allows you to pick, let's say, a Japanese song, let's say Suki-sa by Azun Shitai. Okay, that's the opening theme song for Maison Ikkaku. And it would be basically the sound of the band playing, but there's no lead singer singing. And then that basically, you can then pick up a mic and then put your voice in there and sing Suki-sa. Okay, that would be the idea. And then as video and that stuff improved, with the laser discs and that kind of stuff improving, they now have it so that you're able to see the words on the screen in case you don't quite remember the lyrics. They put the words on the screen for you, and then you can then follow either a bouncing dot or the changing of the colors of the words to tell you what you're supposed to be singing and when you're supposed to be singing it. All right. Now, like most people and like myself, the whole entire concept of karaoke is one of those experiences where your friends or kind of got together and say, hey, there's this karaoke place somewhere, and you decided, okay, let's go in there and let's give it a try. So you go and pay your money, you rent the room, you have this system set up in front of you where you type in some numbers and you look through a book or something to figure out what song you can sing. Type something in, and up on the screen it goes, and then that's your turn on the mic, and you try to sing something. Okay. Sometimes you're not very, sometimes you're probably not that successful. You maybe forgot some of the lyrics. You're out of key a lot of times, maybe. Well, I'm sure a lot of us probably can't sing at all, have no voice training whatsoever, so you don't know when to hold notes, don't know when to, change your pitch and all that other stuff. Again, that's one of the things that happens when you get people that don't know how to sing, and they do things like that. But it is sometimes a lot of fun to do karaoke because it's very spontaneous and you don't know what may happen. Okay, so as I later got more experience in karaoke, I decided to start actually getting more into actually bringing and making karaoke available. So at some of the conventions that we have in here in Vancouver, I was able to put together something to bring karaoke to the convention. So one of the things I did with the popularity of Yahoo auctions was I managed to purchase from Yahoo Japan. A person was selling the VCD discs out of a karaoke machine that basically I guess it was basically a multiple disc changer karaoke machine, but I guess the machine's broken, so he took all the VCDs that were in that machine, almost 400 of them. He took them all out of the machine, put them on an auction on Yahoo auctions, and I managed to purchase that, and he sent them all the way to Vancouver. And that basically gave me the beginning of a large collection of Japanese songs. Again, these songs were all without vocals, and they had the Japanese lyrics on the screen, no English translation, just Japanese lyrics, and they basically filled and colored as you're supposed to sing them. Okay, and so basically, with this, I was able to allow people to sing some popular Japanese songs, especially when we go to Japanese conventions. A lot of people will pick the basic classic favorites. Dragon Ball is always popular. Sailor Moon is always popular. Of course, recently some other people are a little bit more crafty and they know who does the songs and that kind of stuff. They'll do some things like Detective Conan, because Zard does a bunch of songs. She also does a Dragon Ball song as well too. So if you know, those type of things are very, very popular. Okay, between that. But then again, it comes into many other issues with karaoke, which I'll get into. So as I said, after getting this, these Japanese VCDs, I slowly started, making a computer server, which would basically, before the era of these newer hard drive based karaoke players, I was building a karaoke server to help teach myself how to program in PHP, MySQL, and build a web-based kind of interface for a karaoke system, which really doesn't still exist right now, but began with these new hard drive-based systems. It was very similar and probably outdated it. But no, again, my new process is to convert all my work into programming one of these newer boxes. Okay, but during this process, I was able to learn and accumulate more songs, and not just only Japanese, but now in Chinese as well, because a lot of the material for Chinese karaoke's also were in these new boxes that they're creating. So when I went to more recent anime conventions, I'm finding out that that the Chinese songs are probably just as popular to sing as the Japanese songs. A lot of people can do both. They know the lyrics, and of course they're able to sing them probably just as well either way. But again, that gets into some of the different rules that I would propose on karaoke. Some basic tips and rules about karaoke, okay, that you should know about, and I'll give you some samples, and maybe this is the part where if you don't want to torture yourself too much, you might want to turn down the volume in certain places, or maybe hit skip. Okay. First rule, okay, is because the word karaoke is Japanese, and because a lot of times the environment that you go into is a Japanese karaoke box or it's a Japanese animation convention, please do not be pressured into singing a Japanese song. Okay? You know, if Japanese isn't your first language and you don't typically speak Japanese, you know, people who speak Japanese would appreciate you not torturing their language with your attempt to sing Japanese. I will use as an example that's not exactly Japanese, but for example, I will make reference to a MP named Ed Broadbent, who was trying to make a political speech in French. He had his handlers decide, well, you know, if we're going to win the election, we better, you know, show that we have support for the French people. So he had one of his handlers write a speech in French for him to read. Unfortunately, they didn't write it out phonetically for him. They just wrote it out as you would normally in French. So when poor Mr. Ed was trying to read the thing, he was emphasizing how you would say it in English. So a lot of things would be like, nous avons, and, you know, accenting different letters and, you know, all the S's and things like that, where you're not supposed to be reading them that way. And of course, you know, I don't think the NDP won the election anywhere close in Quebec, so you can kind of guess what happened there. So, so that's your biggest tip. You know, if you're not comfortable trying to sing a Japanese song, please don't. Sing it in something in a language that you do understand. So do go ahead, pick something in English, okay? Tip number 2, okay? Try to sing something that is made for your voice type. I mean, please don't feel pressured to sing Beat It, okay, or Billie Jean.
They told us to have a come around here. Don't ever see your faces there disappear. The fire in their eyes and the words are really clear. So be
okay, or Billie Jean, or Staying Alive, okay? Because if it's not in your vocal range,
stay alive, stay alive. Stay alive.
because if it's not in your vocal range, don't worry about it. Pick something else, okay? Number 3, okay? Now, this is more for the newer millennial crowd, but, okay, I know that a lot of the music nowadays is a lot of rap and a lot of auto-tune and things like that, which helps basically correct the fact that you can't sing and you're using a computer to fix it for you. Don't be pressured to sing any of those songs either, okay? Sure, maybe you think, well, okay, this new song that I hear is really cool, so I'm going to try to sing it. What usually happens is that if you're not accustomed to, for example, a rap song, for example, and you quickly, as the number of beats per minute and the number of words per minute becomes very quick, you fall behind very quickly and you become tailing. So you end up with large blank sections where the words are zipping across the screen and it's coming across faster than you can say them. And you're missing words and you're just sort of, you can't touch that. You can't touch that. Like, you know.
But everything you lack, well, you mix up in your bio. So don't take, cause you can play out straight. And maybe you'll know just it anyway. You gotta play the piano, keep it real. No way, no way. So if you don't play, just overcompensate. If you know you can, always go on Ricky Lake.
You just, you know, all you can, you just sound really silly trying to say every other word, and you're just, you know, you're not actually singing it, and you're kind of playing the game of catch up. So again, pick something more your speed. If it doesn't, you know, again, if you have to pick up a ballad or something, go ahead. I'm sure, you know, people have probably heard the Titanic song too many times, but if that is your speed, maybe you should go for that, okay? Another tip for people who are trying karaoke and you're really, nervous or shy and, you're really apprehensive of doing it, may I suggest you do it with your friend. So, why bother doing a karaoke by yourself? Why not get more than one person to help you out? This really comes in handy if you've got, let's say, a multiple number of, friends or guys or something, and you decide. Okay, or get 4 guys to come out the stage and you can do an NSYNC song. So so not only one guy singing, you can all sing it. Or if you're doing an equivalent female version, you can do, let's say, a Pointer Sister song, get 3 girls out there, or Spice Girls, get 4 girls out there. You can all do it together, so you're not getting, so you'll have some support. And with the parts that you're maybe a little weak on, someone else in the group can hopefully help patch that in. Okay, and again, that maybe helps you gain a little more confidence, and and maybe make a performance a little bit more shall I say enjoyable. Okay, so try that. You don't have to do it yourself. Okay. The next thing you should do, the next tip you should do is don't be discouraged that some people know the song way too much or way too well, and the fact that you don't know anywhere near that the song that well. For example, a really popular song is the Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, and how some people know it so well that they know the Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia. So it's like, okay, how do they know that? Those lyrics aren't showing up on the screen, but they're able to say that, right?
I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
You're just a poor boy, poor family. Sharing his life from this morsel to tea.
Easy come, easy go, will you let me go?
Bismillah, no, we will not let you go.
Let me go!
Bismillah, no, we will not let you go.
Let me go! Let me go!
We'll not let you go.
Let me go! Let me go!
No.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
Mamma mia, let me go.
Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me, for me, for me.
Maybe there's a Run DMC song or something, where again the professor's at the front saying his little song for Rap Box, and you're wondering, nothing's on the screen, but the guys who's on the mic is going, what is rap music?
Because
what has nothing to do with music? What is a unit of measure
used to determine the necessary current to excite an incandescent lamp
or candle power. So, just because, don't be discouraged if people know that and they're starting to insert that into the song when it's not even on the thing. Okay, there are different songs that you can pick. Again, pick one that's comfortable for you. Just don't get discouraged that people are know the song better than others. Okay, just pick something that you know. All right. The next tip is, and I can't emphasize it anymore. Pick a song that you know, and don't be forced to pick a song that's in Japanese. Okay, because one of the worst things, visually speaking, anyway, is that here you are, a noob at karaoke, a noob at Japanese, and you're gonna force yourself to try to sing a Japanese song. Okay, and so the Japanese song comes up. You can't read the Japanese that's coming across the screen. Okay, so here you're gonna go and download this Romanji version of the lyrics, and you're gonna hold it on a piece of paper in front of your face. So here you are sitting in front of the karaoke, you can't pay attention to what's on the screen because, again, the lyrics are just zipping across and you can't tell what they say, okay? But you got it on your sheet of paper all romanized for you. So all you can hope to do is, you know, follow what's on your sheet of paper and you don't fall behind, right? And so here you are, you're standing with the mic in front of your face and you got a piece of paper in front of your face and you're going, Suki-sa, shibirere hodo. It's like, you know, no one can see you. Like, what is this person doing? He's just like reading like cue cards and whatever. And you got this piece of paper in front of your face. So, like, you know, again, you're trying to pick something that's out of your, shall we say, out of your tune, out of your, you know, out of your league, shall we say. And maybe you should pick something that's a little bit more in your wheelhouse, okay? Because really, it doesn't look good, it doesn't make you look good, and I'm pretty sure it probably doesn't even make you sound good either. The next tip I have is if you're really not able to, you know, sing the song the way that it's supposed to be sung, or, you know, you maybe don't even know the lyrics on how to sing the song, one of the funnest things to do with a karaoke song is make up your own lyrics, or if you do have problems with the pitch or whatever, sing it in a totally different way and make it sort of a hilarious version. Okay, and the example that I have is, or two situations I have, and I'll give you both of them. The first one, if I remember right, it was at VCon. Okay. And one of the things they do in science fiction cons is called filking, okay? And that is basically they kind of make stories and that kind of stuff to music, okay? So again, they're not following lyrics, they're not following, you know, sort of a script or a plot line or anything like that. They're just basically using the music to kind of tell a folk story, I guess, if you will. And one of the funnest things that I remember was these two girls took the music for Bohemian Rhapsody, okay? And they made this story, this Final Fantasy story, using Tifa and Cloud. And it was really very spontaneous, and it really got a good reaction. They edited it really well, and, you know, they didn't stumble or anything like that. They just came up with different lines as the song was going. Again, Bohemian Rhapsody is slow enough of a song that you can make different things and different different verses, okay, totally from rad, because it is relatively slow enough that you can do that. And so that was one very, very entertaining and you know, one very good usage of that song, okay. And again, probably was never ever replicated. And at that time, I wish I had actually recording devices that actually recorded it, like I did with some of these other ones, right? The second case, there's a couple of different cases actually, that comes right to mind is instead of singing it in your regular voice, sing it in a voice of someone that you impersonate well. Okay, so that way, you know, if you are out of pitch or you don't know the lyrics or you're stumbling or whatever, you can just toss it off to say, you know, you can kind of fluff it off and say that, well, because I'm actually singing it as somebody else. Okay, okay, so it's not.
Up here on the shore, waiting to take you away. Beam me up, climbing the back when you're heading the clouds and you're gone. In the sky with diamonds.
Okay, so it's not actually your real voice. Okay, for example. So one of the probably the most strange versions of that I remember was one time we went and we did Peter Cetera's "Glory of Love," but the person sang it as Cartman from South Park. So it's the, you know, damn it, the glory of love. Okay, but again, so if you mess it up, no big deal. You were just, you know, playing around in a different voice, and so if you screw it up, then hey, no one cares, no worse the matter. Okay, and it gets a good laugh, and you know. So if you want to leave me a message or a comment or maybe a suggestion for another episode, by all means, my contact information is directly below. You can contact me about that. You also want to click subscribe below so that you'll get notifications when there are new episodes that are coming up, and then you'll be able to watch those new topics as they come up, because there's quite a few new things that are going on with CDs and more fan subs as I get into more of the laserdiscs and more of the different topics, the titles that we actually did at our Arctic Animation. Okay, until next time, see you again.